Worries.
It's coming now.
I lost visual. Okay, there
No,
we
we're
are.
good. We're all back. Now everything is actually live. Sorry about
Okay.
that, but we're good for the rest of the time now.
Good. Okay. No, that's great. So, really just want to go into kind of, let's look at the 2020 consumer, besides the masks and the toilet paper and all the crazy stuff that we've been going through. One of the big things that any marketer today should be understanding is that consumers now and well into the future are being really driven by stress, anxiety, and worry. These are sort of deep-rooted emotions that consumers are feeling today, and it's driven by a lot of factors. So 60% of U.S. consumers are still worried about the risk of exposure to COVID-19. More than half, 55%, are also just worried about how it's affecting their lifestyle. It's affecting everything, the way we live and shop and eat and play and really do anything has been impacted. So we really need to understand these underlying emotional issues that consumers are going through. And that's really relevant. It's coming from our own data at Mintel, where we're literally asking people, are you still worried? And of course, there was a big spike in consumers that were worried about the virus and its impact March and April, but it's leveled off at that elevated level. And I don't know when or if we will ever get back to those pre-COVID levels of, or I should say pre-shutdown levels of concern. This COVID-19 level of worry is going to remain, and it's impacting all areas of our lives. So our physical health, emotional health, financial well-being. If you just type in the words "do I" into Google, I mean, the populated responses based on traffic frequency is just really telling as to what people are concerned about today, everything from unemployment, anxiety, and the virus itself. So I do have some great data. I'm not going to go through every slide for purposes of time, but great data on just how the virus and really the subsequent recession, but COVID-19.
Actually, Lily,
Yeah.
we're not going to turn the webinar off now, so there is not going to be an end. So if you go over because we started late, that is okay. So please, this information is really important, and I know people are here to see you. So please present it all, and we will adjust back. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, thanks, Deborah. Okay, that's great. So what we have here is some research that we've done in how COVID-19 has really shifted consumer lifestyles and their actual shopping behaviors. So the most notable and probably somewhat obvious to most of you on the line is that the majority of consumers are just limiting the time that they're spending in stores. This, of course, when stores were either closed or we had these shelter-in-place orders. So 56% of consumers are still trying to limit the time they spend in stores. We're seeing elevated levels of online shopping. And then this is partially because of the virus, and then I think we can also blame the recession on this too, that 48% of consumers are limiting their spend on non-essential items. And this is something that happens with any recession. This is something we saw with the Great Recession as well, where the prioritization of what's considered essential versus non-essential in purchasing decisions tends to shift. And those that may have been considered essential, like dog walkers, that's something that was certainly essential 12 months ago, and now those that might not be essential for a variety of reasons. So we're seeing 30% of consumers using curbside pickup more often, and then a quarter of consumers still shopping from local businesses. This is still pretty significant there. So we're seeing some shifting in shopping habits. The other thing to keep in mind is that we are being so inundated with connectivity and technology. I mean, we can all, I think, attest to how dependent we are on Zoom right now, which was very telling with the outage on Monday, how it impacted so many people. But our attitudes toward technology is differing and in a surprising way. So this I thought was really worth noting because we always assume that younger consumers are so much more technologically connected, which is probably true. They're probably online more. I mean, we're seeing them utilizing social media more. But what's really interesting is we did a study, and this was pre-COVID, but we did a study looking at health and wellness goals across generations. And I think this is worth noting as sort of a bit of a counter argument to the rise in technology, is that when we ask consumers who were which consumers were planning to reduce their use of technology, it was actually inversely correlated to age. So younger consumers, especially Gen Z, 68% actually said that one of their goals is to reduce their use of technology. Now, this could be because they're recognizing just how much time they're spending on their phones or online every single day. And for younger consumers, millennials, it's over 5-6 hours a day. COVID-19 has certainly changed our technology consumption habits, especially how much we're utilizing, of course, Zoom meetings, but even streaming services, things like that. So I think this is something to be aware of, is the shifting use of technology and how sort of as technology continues to be ever present, we also need to think about the counter trend and consumers looking to disconnect as a way to connect, really bring back that human connection. So as marketers, we can do that, whether it's through tactile channels like direct mail or just through the engagement practices that we utilize. Even spending time outdoors, getting back to nature. These are sort of sentiments that we think really need to be acknowledged in various marketing tactics. The other sort of emotion that we need to pay attention to is the concept of loneliness. I thought this was really interesting. So with the shelter in place orders, and now people have been somewhat sequestered to their homes for the last 5-6 months, it would be normal to think that levels of loneliness are on the rise. But interestingly, there have been a range of studies from Johns Hopkins University, Florida State University, University of Washington, and a few others that are highlighting that even though the pandemic is generating a lot of isolation, it actually has not caused a notable spike in loneliness. Now, it is really important to note that these studies were specifically focused on loneliness, so it doesn't necessarily mean there are not other mental health concerns like anxiety or depression very much still in play here. But the concept of loneliness is interesting because we have people that are stuck at home, some people by themselves, but they are finding ways to connect, be it through, again, technology or other connected capabilities, social media. But I think this is an interesting concept. Again, the whole idea of loneliness in general is one that we need to be paying attention to. More than half of Gen Z adults have told us that they manage their stress by talking to someone. I mean, the idea of therapy is much more accepted nowadays. It's not so taboo anymore. And just the idea of connecting with other people, again, whether it's through social media or other channels. So we need to think about this concept. And we're seeing some brands get creative with the idea of tackling the concept of being alone. So I wanted to show a couple examples of how we're seeing this, because the idea of being alone no longer means what it used to mean. I thought this was really clever. So Potbelly's, if anyone's familiar with that brand, I love Potbelly sandwiches, but they did something kind of witty, kind of funny, clever back in May, and they were testing these alone time parking spaces across select locations in Chicago. And it was really recognizing the fact that, especially for parents that were sheltered in place at home with young kids and not getting the break they maybe typically do during a school day or otherwise, they actually had dedicated parking spots for parents to sit and have a sandwich by themselves quietly in their car. And, you know, it says reserved for parents to eat in peace and quiet, children and conference calls prohibited. So, you know, you have to sort of take that with a chuckle and appreciate the brand creativity there for recognizing the problem and coming up with a creative solution and engaging new customers. There's another company called Party Online, and this is a business that provides props, ideas, and all the sort of accessories you would need for celebrations. And what they did is they pivoted, and this is something I'm going to talk a lot about in some of the marketing examples. They pivoted to this sort of sheltered in place COVID environment, and they started creating these party for one packages. So, you know, as people were forced to celebrate momentous occasions or birthdays by themselves at home or over video calls, people could order the kit for themselves or to be sent to multiple people. And then you would receive all the thematic props at your home, cake decorations, streamers, whatever it might be. So it's just allowing sort of the shifted mindset around celebrations, but still being able to maintain that celebratory feel, even if you're doing it by yourself in the comfort of your own home. And then, of course, I have to talk about the holidays because there are a number of holidays coming. We're sort of getting into holiday season. And so given all of these new drivers, new emotions, new just ways of life that consumers are going through right now, marketers are really going to need to start to reimagine what the holidays look like. So whether that's Halloween or Thanksgiving, and especially, Christmas and other holidays that come at the end of the year. So a lot of this is changing. We're going to see consumers trying to hold on to some of the normalcy that they're used to, but having to shift. I say less sharing, more caring. This, I think, is going to be important when you think about the idea of what sharing used to mean for these holidays. So for Halloween, we're already talking about how, Halloween candies have to be very individually wrapped, which is something that they have been for a while, but now we're seeing even more products that are, single serving size, a single peanut butter cup in a packaging, in sort of a specialized packaging. And all of these holidays revolve around food. Thanksgiving, Christmas, there's a lot of food. And so the idea of sharing food and the need for more individual serving sized type of packaging is going to be important. Leading with comfort, but acknowledging the uncertainty. Comfort is going to be really important. That's something that brands are going to have to get creative with in terms of the copy and especially the imagery of, providing sort of that aspirational, comforting feel to know that things are okay, things are going to be okay. But of course, you can't overlook the fact that there's still a lot of uncertainty. So there's that balance between the imagery and the copy, comforting, but acknowledging, the elephant in the room and that everyone is going through their own unique situation. And then authenticity is going to be really important this holiday season. The e-commerce giants, you've got your Walmarts and your Amazons that are making it really easy to do all that holiday shopping. If you're competing with them, you really need to focus on the authenticity or shopping local, because those are areas that consumers are trying to purchase from, but at the same time, you're going to have to compete with the convenience. So authenticity is where Amazon brands can really shine and focus on who their brand is, what you stand for, what the identity is, and why it should really matter to that customer. And then finally, just thinking about the holidays, especially Christmas time, I do want to know, we did do some research as to what consumers are going to be looking for this holiday season, whether they're still sheltered in place or whether they're starting to venture out. Again, we don't know what the situation is going to be come December, but some of the things that we found from our research is that consumers are looking for those conveniences, the transparency, the assistance. So 46% are telling us they would like to have real-time inventory data. So they don't want to shop for something and then be told after the fact that it's out of stock or that they can't get it until January 2nd. 44% of consumers want the ability to place an order close enough to the holidays and still receive guaranteed delivery. That's going to be important. I know there's a lot of concerns right now with USPS and some slowdowns. Hopefully that can be resolved by the end of the year. But those delivery guarantees, and even if you need to put a cushion in there so that you meet your guarantee, that's going to be really important. Flexible payment options, suggestions for unique gifts, recipes, meal planning ideas, engaging beyond just trying to sell something is really important. Ideas and suggestions for decorating. These are all things that, again, this is new for everybody. So any way that you can offer to help beyond just selling something is going to go a long way with engaging consumers. The biggest focus over the last 6 months has been engagement, retention marketing, whether or not your customers are ready to buy again or prospects are ready to buy. You have to keep those that already have bought from you engaged. So I want to go through, let's talk about marketing in the next normal, because that's really where we are right now. We define at Mintel the next normal as being the idea of normalcy, but recognizing the fact that it is a very fluid concept. And what's normal today is going to be very different than what's normal in October and what's normal in December and so on. And so we can't really call it the new normal because it's going to continue to change, and it's going to be consistently shifting. And so I really refer to the next normal as being a concept of impermanence. We really need to think about it as a short-term concept. It's important to look at the long-term goals, but understanding that what's normal in the long term will be very different. So my rules for marketing in this next normal period include embracing the pivot, which I've talked a little bit about, but really trying to embrace what's happening and leaning into it, rethinking the shopping experience. We all know that's something that retailers, grocery stores, anything brick and mortar is being forced to do right now. And how can you connect the online and offline channels? Because we're really seeing innovations that are setting the bar for seamlessness between the various marketing and distribution channels. So let's quickly talk about sort of this idea of pivoting. So embracing the pivot. Again, what I mean by that is just adapting to understanding what is happening in the here and now. So we're already in this back to school season. Many schools have already started up. Some are about to. My kids are about to start next Tuesday, and I'm scared out of my mind, but who knows what that's going to bring, because a week from now, things are going to change. But marketers, they're getting back in action. They're getting back into it. They're embracing the back to school concept. It's just not back to school the way it used to be. This digital campaign, this was a social media post from Fisher-Price on the left. I find this hilarious. I think this is one of my favorites. But they have a new work from home toy kit. It's sort of a play work from home set, which I think is genius in and of itself. But then the copy says, "Could you say your favorite color again? You were on mute," which as a parent, I can completely commiserate with. And I have to just laugh at the insanity it is of having, a 5-year-old on a Zoom call. So Fisher-Price really leaned in and they adapted not just with their product, but with the copy as well. Geico on the right here, recognizing that back to school looks a lot different this year and understanding that kids are just spending more time connected to the internet. So Geico was offering tips on online security, online safety. So this, I think, was really important. Again, they weren't talking about their 15 minutes to save 15% or more. They were just providing proactive tips on a topic very relevant to parents with kids doing virtual learning right now. So that's what I mean by embracing the pivot. Office Depot did something similar as well through multiple campaigns. What I thought was unique about what Office Depot did was acknowledging that we don't know. We don't have all the answers. We don't know what's going to happen. And, what one person is going through is very different from what another person is doing. So, comfort, humor is great, but you need to make room for that uncertainty again, because we're talking about fluidity and changing times. And so with these social media posts, which were on Twitter, they had copy like, "Whatever they need for wherever they'll be, we've got you covered with the supplies and solutions. Wherever school will be, we're here to provide solutions." So keeping not only those words of whatever, wherever, sort of the open-endedness, they did also utilize a hashtag, keep school going, which I thought was another way, a great way to keep the engagement going through that hashtag. Backing up just a little bit, Fisher-Price did that as well. Fisher-Price has a very unique dedicated hashtag called hashtag Let's Be Kids, which again keeps the conversation going. It connects the channels, it connects the campaign in other ways, and lets consumers engage back with it. So this I thought was unique, embracing the uncertainty of things. And then finally, in terms of embracing the pivot, I think it's really important for marketers today to focus on the circumstances, not necessarily the virus. I think we're all kind of COVID-19 out. We're all tired of hearing, of course we're tired of hearing, we're all in this together and we're here for you, done. Let's move past that. But we're also getting tired of hearing about COVID-19 in general, because it is stating the obvious, and let's recognize the circumstances that everyone is in. It's been interesting for travel brands, cruise lines, airlines, hotels, all of that to market in this period where people really aren't traveling a lot yet. But this was an interesting direct mail campaign from American Express, where they were really leveraging stay at home as a vehicle, as a way to prepare for whatever future travel you may be doing. So the messaging was really capturing the tension between wanting to travel and being unable to do so yet. So using copy like "turn today's takeout, delivery, and groceries into future free nights." That was the Hilton direct mail piece on the left, and then there was a separate one on the right here. We're right there with you. We're daydreaming. We want to travel. We want to connect with people. So the world isn't ready just yet, but we want you to be ready when it is. So again, acknowledging the circumstances that are today, but letting the recipient be a little bit more aspirational and think about what's possible in the future. So the shopping experience, as I mentioned, the shopping experience is very different. We know whether we're going into the stores or not, if we're comfortable with it or not. Brick and mortar are trying to open up. They're doing everything they can to make shopping experiences as safe as possible. But at the end of the day, not everyone is going to be comfortable, no matter what safety protocols have been or measures have been put in place. Not everyone is going to be entirely comfortable. And so we're seeing a lot of innovations from big retailers or big box stores to provide options. And so if you're a smaller retailer or a smaller service, it's important to understand where that bar is being set from some of the bigger players. So I wanted to point out this direct mail postcard that Ashley Furniture sent out, but they're putting this across a lot of their campaigns. Of course, some of the similar promos and financing you're used to seeing from a furniture company, but I thought this was unique, where they've sort of branded the shop your way concept. It's at that bottom there, and shop way, and it gives so many options. So you can connect with FaceTime, Facebook Messenger, Skype, WhatsApp, or Zoom, and then they put the QR code there, which makes it easy to connect. And so I just scanned it with my phone, and any iOS phone can scan a QR code with its camera, and what you see there on the right is what pops up. It sends the text, and then you can click the link, and if you want to create an appointment, again, you have more options. You can choose your appointment. You can either have an in-store appointment where someone will be there with you, a dedicated person will walk you through the store, or you can have a virtual consultation where you can utilize your phone or your laptop, and then someone else is walking around the store for you. It was very seamless and very efficient way to, again, get that in-store shopping experience. We're also seeing a very unique shift towards omni-channel to help with the in-store experience and omni-channel communications. So what I mean by that, especially for brick and mortar, where you have to do some things in person, for example, the bank branch. This was an interesting campaign from TD Bank. So on the right, you'll see an email that they were sending to customers, really trying to educate them on what the branch experience looks like. So spelling it all out. They're doing everything they can to keep you safe. They're reducing the number of customers at the branch. There will be signs to show people where to stand, screens in between you and the teller. So really just making it very clear in the email. But on the left there, you can actually see what some of those signs were showing, and they were getting creative with that. They had to put stickers on the ground. So when you're waiting for the ATM, we're starting to see those social distancing stickers everywhere now. But very clear, wait here for ATM access, stand together by standing apart. You've got that unity. We saved you a spot. It's trying to get clever. And then of course, there's also the signage that they, again, are utilizing QR codes to check in, and that will text you when it's your turn. So making it as seamless and efficient as possible, that you can either wait in your car or wait in the designated spot. Making that omni-channel experience one that connects across every aspect of the journey of either getting into the retail location or just engaging with someone from that location. And then finally, connecting the channels is, again, just picking up on a lot of that QR code stuff I've talked about, and I've been talking about this for many months now. Anyone who's familiar with my research and presentations, I'm big on QR codes, and now really is a time to embrace that contactless, whether it's with paying for something or just engaging and getting your customers or prospects to engage with your brand. Contactless, whether it's QR codes or augmented reality or whatever it may, mobile tags, whatever it may be. We're seeing a lot of innovation. So restaurants are using printed signs on tabletops with QR codes that could load up the digital menu. Payment can even be taken with a QR code now. PayPal recently launched an update to its app so that merchants, small businesses, restaurants, they can generate their own unique QR code that could be displayed at the point of sale. So all a customer has to do is to utilize the phone to, again, take the picture, scan the QR code, and it'll pop up PayPal for easy payment through that app. But PayPal's not the only one doing it. We're just seeing a lot of movement in this space, and the idea of QR codes popping up, again, in locations, in printed direct mail or sort of takeaway marketing communications, anything where you can provide print. I think QR codes are going to be really, really big and really important to that online, offline connection. And then we're seeing other, again, sort of big retailers setting the bar with how the channels can be connected with one another. So this is a campaign. Came in the mail from JCPenney. Of course, a lot of promos on items that are on sale and sort of the typical content you would see in a big JCPenney ad. But it was interesting that they are putting a lot of attention on their app. The JCPenney app is very robust. I will say it has a lot of really interesting functionalities. You can put all your rewards on there, track your JCPenney rewards. They're really trying to enhance loyalty, encourage loyalty. They have something called Snap to Shop, where you can take your phone and take a picture of anything you see. So if I had the JCPenney app and I took a picture of that crock pot, they would immediately pull up that the Instant Pot, very different. It would pull up that Instant Pot in the JCPenney online shopping store. Or I could just be anywhere out and about and take a picture of a jean jacket, and then the app will pull up a jean jacket in JCPenney's online store. Not only that, but they're already talking about the holidays. You can see on the bottom right there, Santa approved. So they're promoting the app as a way to keep up with gift lists. You can obviously make purchases. You can see what sales are going on, store events. You can even look at your own order history and everything like that. So a way to get organized and ready again for the upcoming holidays, because we're already there. So I'm going to start to wrap up. I just want to look ahead. I want to provide some thoughts on what we're thinking is happening the rest of the year, and really what marketers should be thinking of well into 2021, because we're going to see a lot of changes ahead. One of the biggest things to keep in mind from both a copy as well as an imagery standpoint is that it's okay to say you don't know. It's okay, again, to recognize the uncertainty. Maybe let's stop using the word unprecedented, or maybe even uncertain is getting overused right now, but nobody knows. Nobody knows what's going to happen a month, 6 months, 12 months from now. So it's okay to say we don't know, but recognize the uncertainty, recognize that we're all going through our own unique situations, and that things are looking a lot different than they did a year ago. Helping consumers to plan and dream for the future. You know, we've been kind of stuck inside for so long. Think aspirationally, think future-oriented, think long-term as a way to really get your customers or prospects to look ahead, because that's the best way, again, to let them think about how they may want to engage, whether it's now or in the future. And then finally, people are ready to laugh. We're seeing some really, really creative, clever marketing campaigns out there that are recognizing all the struggles, whether you're an employee who's returning to work soon, or you're a business that's trying to ramp things up again and get your customers back. Get creative. And again, if you're interested, we have some just a wealth of examples of the hilarity that we've seen, but people are ready to laugh. And I think we need a little lighthearted humor to get us through the end of this crazy, crazy year. So before I finish and open things up for Q&A to talk to Deborah, I do want to offer this exclusive to all the amazing folks who signed on today and are listening in. Comperemedia is offering a free report. So this is one of the latest reports we published. It's called Adapting Direct Mail Messaging Post-COVID-19. Amazing report from one of our experts in the space. So if you're interested in this, or to find out more about Mintel or Comperemedia, please get in touch with my colleague David. His information is on the screen, and we'd be happy to answer more questions for you. So thank you so much. I am really appreciative of your time, appreciative of your patience through all this, and would love to chat with you, Deborah, and open up for questions.
First of all, how you got us back on schedule is absolutely just incredible, and you continue to do amazing things for the Printiverse. I cannot thank you enough. I just want to make sure, honestly, that because we had a little recording glitch in the beginning, that everybody understands who you are, what you do, and how people can work with Comperemedia. So please address that, and we'll see if there are any questions.
Absolutely. Yeah. So just again, a refresh. So Comperemedia is a Mintel company. Mintel is a global market research firm. We specialize in consumer research, and we're really here to help our clients understand what consumers want and why. Comperemedia is dedicated to marketing. We have an amazing multimedia marketing platform. So really what we're doing is we're tracking all of the marketing that's out there. So we have an entire database where you can pull up all of the campaigns across direct mail, email, mobile, online, print. We're now getting into social media and podcasts and television, and really just that 360-degree view of what your competitors and what your industry is sending, and what your customers and prospects are receiving from others, other brands out there. So it's this incredible platform. So again, if you're interested in learning more, thanks, Deborah. If you're, please reach out. We're happy to do a demo of the platform. It's really cool to see the campaigns. And we're not just, I mean, we show the campaigns, like a direct mail campaign will be scanned in its entirety from the front of the envelope to the back, but we're also capturing hundreds of metrics: who sent it, when they sent it, demographics on the recipients who got the campaign, what the offer was, what the price was. So many fields. So there's a lot of quantitative and qualitative analysis that we're able to do across the entire marketing landscape.
Lily has dedicated her time to the Printiverse multiple times. Actually, even was fortunate enough to work with some of your other colleagues who have really been educating us all on where the market is right now, and where things that are appropriate to talk about and to sell moving forward. And you have been an invaluable resource to all of us. And as I've mentioned a few times, we're all in the same storm, but we're not all in the same boat has become a legendary phrase from you. As well, I stole data for decisions from a conversation that we had. Hi, Tobias. So I really just can't thank you enough. Mostly, obviously, accolades and great information is, what everybody has been saying here. And it's so generous of you to offer this free report to everybody. And really just want to thank you so much for remaining calm during our technical glitch. It's a mark of a true professional. Something tells me it's happened to you before. I honestly don't have any questions. It was so comprehensive. I think that what I would say is that, Lily provides a roadmap that you can, I believe, do some predictive modeling with. We have definitely had some interesting conversations about my research I do in my house watching TV commercials and Lily's official research, and we meet up sometimes in very interesting intersections. I might have an idea about where I think things are going, but Lily has the data to back that up, and data for decisions. So thank you so much for your partnership. I hope everybody connects with Lily on LinkedIn. We have her information up in the chat room. Thanks to Karis Kopp, who's been manning the chat.